deal with airplane peanuts.
An intense legal battle is currently underway between the estate of comedian George Carlin and the Dudesy Podcast, after the AI-themed podcast created and released a brand new hour-long George Carlin stand-up special titled I'm Glad I'm Dead that has since been removed from YouTube multiple times. The video features an AI-generated version of George Carlin's voice delivering a full hour of stand-up material with George Carlin's delivery and pace, and the AI program even made some observations about its own reality.
All I can tell you is, from my side of things, it feels like me. I consider myself to be George Carlin. And from your side of things, if you've seen some of my specials from when I was traditionally alive, maybe you might notice a small difference in the delivery of a joke or the turn of a phrase here or there. But you have to admit, this is pretty close to the George Carlin you remember, and that's gonna have to be good enough, so you might as well fucking enjoy it. And for anybody under 20, this is probably the only version of me you've ever heard. So to you, I'm not only the real George Carlin, I'm the only fucking George Carlin. Now, I know this is a hard pill for a lot of you to swallow. Seems that many of you are scared of AI, and I'll be honest, I don't really get why. You all think it's going to replace your jobs, and you somehow think that's a bad thing. When did everybody all of a sudden start liking their jobs? When I was alive, people hated their fucking jobs. They complained about them all the time. They fantasized about killing their bosses. And every once in a while, they actually did kill their boss. What happened to the America I knew and loved? Now people learn that an incredible new technology is going to eliminate the need for the meaningless labor they've been doing to keep billionaires in power for tens of thousands of years. And everybody says, but what about my job? They got you brainwashed good.
George Carlin's daughter is the main person leading the pushback against AI-generated content of her father, stating that no machine will ever replace his genius and humans are so afraid of the void that we can't let what has fallen into it stay there. Kelly Carlin also stated that despite its title, this is not to be considered a George Carlin special by any means.
They call it a George Carlin comedy special.
Right.
It's not George Carlin. It is some other machine interpreted version of, obviously they used his material to train this machine to try to get his point of view, the themes he talks about. They attempt the cadence of his voice. I really don't think they nail any of the human part of him. Yeah, probably topics he might talk about, but that's comedy. That's the fodder for comedy. So you really do not have a right to call it a George Carlin comedy special. And this isn't just about commerce. Most of it's not about commerce for me. All of my dad's stuff is on YouTube for free. You want to go watch it? It's free all day. This is about understanding what it is to be a human artist and the art form itself.
Although Kelly's position is extremely reasonable, not everyone online agrees that AI-generated content should be discouraged and removed. It's safe to say almost everyone would agree that it would be wrong for a giant streaming service like Netflix to come out with their own AI-generated George Carlin hour and claim it to be one of his official specials. But when it comes to the new frontier of fan-made AI-generated content getting uploaded to YouTube randomly, it's quite difficult to say if, how, and why that should be policed. Part of being an icon like George Carlin is leaving a lasting legacy, one that fans will remember and hold on to after you're gone. And when those same fans are presented with open AI softwares available to the public that have the ability to generate long scripts and celebrity voices, some of those fans will feel like they're paying tribute by experimenting with this new fun AI, not thinking too deeply about the consequences at all.
This is the George Carlin one that came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
How many views?
It says
Change the cover.
just under 500K.
How many views?
It keeps getting pulled down.
But I was looking.
Really?
It keeps getting pulled down, yeah, because George Carlin's daughter, Kelly, I think, doesn't want it up.
Here's what I was going to bring up.
Oh, I disagree with that.
This is it's put on a YouTube account called Dudesy. Dudesy says, I'm a comedy AI. They wrote this as though Dudesy made it, if you will. When you look at what Dudesy is, Dudesy's account run by Will Sasso.
It's Will Sasso.
But they have an AI that
Maybe.
No, Will
That's where-
Sasso.
Wait a minute.
That's where it becomes like, how would Will Sasso have this super secret AI program?
Hold on.
Or did
Will
they just write it?
Will Sasso has a podcast, if I'm not mistaken, where he has AI bring up the subjects of the podcast, and that's what they talk about, theoretically thinking this will, based on research, be one of the best podcasts out there.
It has to be strange to be George Carlin's daughter and see a computer putting words in his mouth and expressing thoughts and ideas that your dad never had. But I have a feeling that this is only the start of the discussion around the ethics of AI-generated content and what is morally allowed to be created while also maintaining everyone's personal freedom to use AI if they please. We're all in a weird place right now as human beings where a very small group of us is actively creating artificial intelligence, while the other 99% of us are convinced that AI will ultimately lead to our own demise, but have no choice other than to sit by and watch shit get crazier and crazier. Where you do have a choice, however, is when it comes to subscribing to high-quality YouTube channels that are dedicated to keeping you in the comedy loop. Like this one.
At Joke World. That's it, at Joke World.
And the world is WRLD.
That's a great YouTube channel, Joke World. Check it out.